Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining me for another office hours training. I'm Crystal Elgun, your financial strategist, life insurance agent, and small business advisor. And part of my job as that strategist is to make sure that I'm bringing things to you that you didn't think of, you didn't know how it fit in helping you redefine and heal your personal financial relationship or helping you build that strong business base. Because all of that is where the magic happens, right? Be it in your personal finances or your overall business. Let's get to it today because we know it is Financial Planning Awareness Month. And so I'll continue to go through some things that are essential in building your financial plan for you and for your family, for the generations that follow. So today, I want to talk about something that it's an overlooked tool, I think, sometimes. And it's just the simple art of automation. And so how to automate your savings and your bills payment so that it's not something that you intentionally have to do every single time. And when you put stuff on automation, it starts to help make your financial management simple. It helps to reduce the stress and it helps to ensure that you're always on track. So automation or automating your savings and bill payments, it takes the stress out of managing finances. It ensures that your money is working for you without effort. And that is the thing, when something becomes so cumbersome, or I have to remember it, or I have to put a, string around my finger or put it in an alarm on my phone sometimes, it can become extremely stressful and then doesn't get done. So by setting up those automatic transfers and payments, you can achieve the financial goals faster. And most importantly, avoiding late fees. Because how many times have you forgotten to get a payment, to do a payment? And it might just be for a couple of days that you forget, but you forgot because maybe a reminder came and you were in the middle of something when the reminder came. So again, automation just kind of helps reduce that stress, put things on autopilot. And so why should you automate? I think the number one reason is, or the number one and two collectively or interchangeably, is it saves you time and it reduces stress, right? This whole get your financial house in order can be stressful, especially when you're setting up systems and strategies that were not there before, right? And it's not truly just an easy process. It's one that's, oh my God, once you do it, it's so worth it. But setting it up, doing it, managing your money can be super stressful. So automation saves times and reduces stress. One of the reasons that I love the most is that it ensures you never miss a payment, which protects your credit score. So not only your payment for those things that are hitting your credit report, but also other things: phone bill, light bill, gas bill, insurance bill, right? And then it creates consistency and savings, allowing you to reach your goal faster. When you put something on automatic pilot, your savings, I want this amount of money going here, I want this amount of money going there for savings. It's on autopilot and it allows you to reach your goal faster. Most importantly, setting up that consistency is happening. And you don't have to get that money and then make some sort of transfer, which again, you either forget, won't do. But if it's happening automatically, or I'll skip this month because I want to buy this thing or I want to go to this place, it happens automatically. That money going into however you distribute it to your savings it's gonna your other spending adjusts. So then you start to not miss that money. The other thing is when you start to see that money grow in that other account, you're like, oh, how can I put more money in here? Right? It's a shift that happens, a psychological shift. So seeing it happen automatically and seeing that money growing without you having to do a lot of effort in order for it to grow. Again, psychological shift. You want to start to see more. So then you start to dig into, well, what other bills can I cut out? What else is unnecessary? And I can reallocate those funds to that. So there's more things that happen than just the automation. You get it? So how do you automate your savings? Set up automatic transfers. So through most payroll companies, you can have money going to, and it varies depending on who you work for. Um, Money going into maybe two other accounts and then the remainder going into to this one account. Typically, if you work for any type of financial institution, any bank, they typically won't do transfers to other banks. They'll put all your money in this bank. So just depending on what the payroll, how you can disperse funds from payroll, and then sometimes you just have to do bill payments and automatic transfers from your bank account once all the money is dumped in. So you first have to find out, how do you want to separate your money? Because I think it's important to separate your money because you cannot save in the same account for what you spend. You cannot do entertainment and shopping from the same account from which you're trying to pay your bills from. So, right. So, I always suggest people set up different buckets. They may even be at different financial institutions, depending upon what this specific bucket is. Savings might be, at a different financial institution than where you're paying your monthly bills from. So it all depends. And there's not a cookie cutter system for that because the system has to work for you. Right. But you want to make sure that you set up the automatic transfers to schedule a portion of your paycheck to go into a savings or investment accounts every single payday. That's really the important part, every single payday, because that winds up being the consistency. You see the balance start to increase, trigger something in your psyche that you want to see more of that, right? Again, use the separate accounts for different goals. Open multiple savings accounts for specific goals, emergency fund, vacation. You may have a miscellaneous sitting over here somewhere for shopping, right? For savings. And there's other things that you can do to increase your savings, like, you take all of the coin out of your purse or your wallet or whatever every day and toss it into a container. You know what I mean? But yeah, you definitely want to automate your savings. And then you want to automate your bill pay. So you want to do this using online bill pay. I'm not fond of creditors, other institutions, utility companies, whatever, coming into your account and pulling from your account. So when I talk about setting up recurring payments, I mean going in and using your online bill pay through your bank or credit union, that you're sending money from your account to those creditors, not allowing them to come in to your bank account, right? You have more control when you set it up. If you need to cancel something, you can typically cancel it when you need to without having to go through all of these other things. But most importantly, not having somebody to come in to be able to pull money from your account. I don't like giving up that kind of control. When you're using your credit cards effectively and paying all of these things with credit cards, it is okay to go into your phone bill and set up that recurring payment using the credit card. So you got AT&T, you go into your AT&T app and you set up that credit card payment in that app. But when you're paying that credit card balance every single month, you want to go into your bill payment from your bank or your credit union and send that money to the credit card company, not have the credit card company pull from your bank account. So again, it's just a preference because I've seen so many things happen to people when they've had other companies pulling from their bank accounts directly, right? And one thing can happen, and I've seen multiple charges, and it's technology, so you really can't always control it, and it's never intentional. But one wrong thing, or somebody or an organization, there's a glitch, and it's pulling, a $200 or $300 payment twice in the same day, could throw off your whole bank account forever. Well, not forever, but can throw off your whole bank account, because now there's the research. Were there fees attached because something else didn't get paid? You know what I mean? So never ever having somebody come in to pull from your bank account or your credit union account. Use the bill pay to set up the recurring payments for expenses, and for credit card payments. And depending upon what it is, you may also want to set a calendar alert. I'm big on setting phone alerts for any transactions that happen from your bank account and from your credit card accounts. So maybe set up alerts to review automatic payments and make adjustments as needed, right? So you want to set them up, let them happen next month for whatever they are, but set up that alert to say, let me go back in and make sure that this worked the way that it was supposed to work, right? So you definitely, listen, setting up the automation does not mean you're not reviewing your accounts. You still want to make sure that you're reviewing your accounts to avoid any overdrafts. That's where you might have to tweak to make sure that things are happening. You may have to adjust the savings amounts or the income and expense. You may have to adjust the amount that's going into those different accounts if you've separated your money. And then you want to make sure that you keep a buffer, right, to avoid those cash flow issues. So when I'm helping people set up that financial system of success, helping them set up that efficient and effective budget financial system of success, and someone says, okay, well, my bill is, $71.02. We're always rounding up to the next dollar. You know what I mean? That's not the normal rule of rounding, right? 10 cent over, you would round down. But when you're doing this, always round up to that next dollar, because it winds up giving you a buffer, right? And so if everything that's going in there is being rounded up to the next dollar, you're having a little buffer, and it continues. So that buffer builds. So if ever you're short or something, or this bill is set up automatically and it's coming out, but it was a little higher for whatever reason. Again, it doesn't throw your account off. It doesn't throw you in the negative. You don't have any cash flow issues. Okay. So automation. So do me a favor. Think about your savings and bill paying habits. Do you have them automated? Are you trying to remember due dates and paying bills manually? Have you been late on a payment because you just simply forgot to make it? Life happens, and I talk to people all the time, and they say, you know what? I was going out of town and I literally forgot to make this payment, right? And they came back, and then they get the, they get the late payment on whatever, or they get to be 30 days. So automation helps from that too. So why let that happen again? Automation is all about making your money work for you without constant oversight, right? And I know a lot of times when we're living in survival mode, this is one of the things that I've found most difficult with clients, because they're accustomed to paying their bills on payday. That's not the due date of the bills, but that's how they're paying. That's when they're paying their bills, because it's survival mode. It's I get paid, I pay my bills, then I live my life after. So to try to switch that and change that is like changing directions on a great big, cruise ship. You can't just turn. So it is a process, right? But automation starts to help with that, right? And then when you're using credit cards effectively, all of those things are getting paid when they're supposed to be paid. And it's just it's a I was going to say it's a simple process to set up. But the word simple is relative, but you can set up a financial system that helps you save consistently, pay bills on time, and stay on track for your goals. And that really is what the automation piece is about, right? In creating that system, that financial system of success that allows you to do more than just pay your bills. But part of it is, and the biggest part is, being intentional with every dollar, right? It doesn't mean that you're necessarily giving things up or making sacrifices. Some people have to make sacrifices just because the money is not there, right? But there's so many people that make a ton of money. But when you look at, they pay all of these bills, but there's no automation for savings. There's no plan for savings. And so automation is one of those ways to help you be able to do that, to pay those bills, yes, but also to pay you, right? And we talk about the 2053 prediction of Blacks having zero wealth. Getting your financial house in order is how we can ensure that prediction doesn't become a reality. Being able to save is a crucial part of that, and having it on automatic pilot makes it easier to reach your goal. It also allows you to create a system that you can then pass down to the next generation as well. So when we talk about breaking those generational curses, if it stops with you, then the new system of success must start with you. But you got to get the tools in order to create those new systems of success, to pass down the tools and the wealth. So you learning and setting up automation and how to separate your money is what you then can teach to your children, and they can also teach that same thing to their children as well. So what is my favorite thing for today? Favorite thing for today is really simple. It's automation. Setting it up, I'm telling you, it'll make your whole life so much easier. There's so many things that we do in life every single day that something else being automated just really truly helps. So yeah, create a little strategy and start to set that up. And that really goes into the steps. Pull out your bills, set up the bill pay, especially if it's easier to not. The ideal goal is to have all of the bills paid by credit cards, and then you're paying the credit cards on the credit card due date for the balance in full. A large portion of people cannot do that because their credit cards are maxed out. So if you're already paying your phone bill from your bank account, right? Go in and just pull out those bills, set up the bill pay from your bank account or credit union. So remember, you're not going into, again, let's just use AT&T. You got an AT&T bill. Most people go in to that app and they pay it, or they've in that app set up recurring payments and put their debit card into that AT&T system. What I'm saying is take that debit card out of the AT&T system and use your bill pay from your bank or your credit union to send money to your AT&T account to pay that bill. It gives you more control. You don't have somebody coming in pulling money from your account. No glitches can happen where they're pulling money more than 2 or 3 times in a day. And trust me, I've seen it, which then causes a ripple effect in messing everything up. So pull out your bills, set up the bill pay from your bank account or your credit union. So you'll go into bill pay, add a payee, right? And then how much are you going to pay every single month? And you just put that on autopilot for the date that it's due. But that's why it's also important to know how much your total bills are. If your bills are $2,000 a month, you want to make sure that you're putting $2,200 per month in that bill account. All of the rest of the money should go somewhere else. That way, guess what? You don't have to just wait and pay bills when you get paid, because the money is already sitting there and you have that bill pay automatically going to pay those bills on their due date. For some, it is a scary thing to try to set up because they feel like they're now not in control. But when you look back at the control that they had, it was just simply about trying to pay the bills on the due date. It was not about controlling the rest of the money, assigning every dollar you earn a job, including vacation, including self-care, self-maintenance, shopping, miscellaneous, entertainment, right? So we have to do more than pay bills, and this is a way that we get to be able to do that, and then watch and tweak where needed, so that, oh, okay, this one doesn't get there by the due date, so I had it paying on, sending. I need to send it. I programmed it to send 2 days prior. I need to reprogram it to send 3 days prior, just so that you start to pay attention to where your money is going. Listen, it's a process. It is not something that's going to happen overnight. Setting up a great system, setting up a great plan is a process. You don't try to do it overnight. You create the strategy and then you put the things in place, right? It's like, trying to get to that next landing on the staircase. You don't jump right to that. You start at that bottom step and you walk each step up. It is a process, but it is a process. And as you learn and document the process, you now have a blueprint to teach to your children, that they can also teach to their children. Remember, it's not just about you. It's about you, the next generations, and you should be thinking 10 generations behind you, right? So take the journey. The journey is well worth it. And remember, always give yourself some grace. There's so many things that I teach in clients, students of my courses. I hear often, they never thought of it that way. They didn't know a thing. They didn't think a thing applied to them. So always give yourself some grace for what you don't know, what you didn't do in the past, for what you messed up in the past. Life happens. Give yourself some grace. Keep striving for your next level. You're not in competition with anybody else. This is all about you and then your family, right? So keep striving, never give up on you. Always, always, always invest in you. I promise you, it is the best investment that you will ever make. And you'll never, ever regret it. Thank you for joining me today for another Office Hours training. I am Crystal L. Gunn, and I will see you next time. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your time. Be sure to join me for the private online Q&A immediately following. The link is in the description. And if you haven't done so already, please be sure to subscribe to my channel and turn notifications on so you never miss this opportunity. Thank you again, and I will see you